All right, so I have started recording. Now let me tell you what we are going to do today. First of all, we are going to write test cases on a new requirement today. Let's say that if you go to the website qaquestions.org, right? If you come here, you will see that we have a register feature, right? First of all, we will write a test case for this register feature. Now, the requirement here, you will be providing your name, your username, password, confirm password, email, and your contact number, and submit. When you submit, it will be showing a successful registration successful message. Okay, number one. Now, after you have registered, right? After you have registered, basically these functions that I tell you is these functions will be implemented on this website or another website so that you can test. You can consider this as a real project, because whatever functionality I'm talking here, these functionalities will be implemented. I'll be writing code so that you can test this functionality. This is a real project. Okay, now once you are registered, right, if you go to the login here, let's say your user is 021 and then you I previously created a user and password is test1234. Whenever you are registered, then you will be able to log in. When you log in, then you will be able to see the videos. Now, so this, let's say each of these tutorials, videos, whatever I have in this website, right, everything will be like few of them only I'll keep public, and all of the remaining stuff will be, once you are registered, you will be able to see. So what is the summary of the functionality, guys? Now, the summary of the functionality, first of all, you are trying to understand requirement here. So you are going to write test case on this real project, and your functionality, your business case. Remember, you are understanding here what is your business case, what is your requirement, what is your user story. Okay, user story means requirement, remember. So I am explaining the business case or requirements or user story here, and from there you will be writing your test cases. So you are trying to understand the business logic. The business logic in this website, or it will be implemented in another website, is the user will be able to register, and once they will be registered, then they will be able to log in, and once they are logged in, only then they will be able to see the content of this website. So now without login, it comes all of the content you are able to see, but once the functionality code will be written for the functionalities, then when you click on this LoadRunner Tutorials, instead of showing all of these tutorials, it will be asking, okay, please log in. It will be showing the login screen. Does it make sense to you? What is your functionality, like what you are going to write test cases for, guys? Functionality wise, are we clear? Do you understand the requirement? Got it. No problem. I will review your test case. Bhagat. Today I'm going to review your test case. So, so here, uh, first of all, you will be writing few other test cases, and these test cases are based on what? Based on, there will be a login feature, there will be register feature, and once you are registered, once you are logged in, then you will be able to see the content of the website. Okay, so let's say. Mhm. Mhm. So in when you are in real life, right? Your, let's say your test case name will be verify QA interview questions menu item, and then in a single test case you will be going through in that way. Open application, right? Application will be open, QA interview questions menu will be displayed, and then hover on QA interview questions, right? The menu item will be displayed, and then click on LM interview questions. LM interview questions page will be displayed. Next step, click on Jira interview questions. Expected Jira interview questions page will be displayed. Like this, however many menu items you have, you will be writing steps, not single, not separate test case. Yeah, all the step will be in a single test case. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like this, like for each of the menu item, right? For each of the menu item, there will be one test case. Login and register. Okay. Positive login, negative login, right? Okay. Now, so in having said that, if I bring my Excel, right? If I bring my Word, how you write this test case is important. If you work as a manual tester, guys, if you get a job as a manual tester, you will be reading the requirement, you will be writing the test cases, and you will be executing these test cases manually. That is all you will be doing. If you work as a manual tester, if you get a job as a manual tester, the very simple thing that you will do, as I am saying, you will be reading the requirement, right? You will be writing the test cases from the requirement, and once the build is deployed, you will be executing those test cases manually, like we are executing in this ALM. So it is very important that you understand, you are able to write test cases, you are able to understand requirements, you are able to execute test cases once the build is deployed, and you are able to report defect. You are able to use the tool that we are using here. Does it make sense, everyone? Okay. Now, if I go to that tool, first of all, let me open this document. And today's class, I want everyone, you understand uh, the way we are working here, and you implement it. You do yourself, and then you implement it. Now, to take a look. First of all, let me go to that project management tool that we are using. No, we are creating the requirement now. That's what we are going to do. See here. Let's say this is a real project. Yeah. No, no, not the website, not the website. There is no requirement document, right? But if the website is there, yeah, you can go from the website. But if there are minimal requirements, but you have, then you have to go through the meetings, and you have to collect the requirements from the people who knows the application, who knows the functionality. You'll have to have meeting with them, and then you will have to get the requirement from them. Mhm. जी बोलें। Yes. Okay, which one you want me to look at first? Nahid bhai? Oh, header menu bar. So here, okay, what is the question here? Mhm. So here, yeah, this test case is totally fine. In this test case, you just the header, the vertical maneuver, whatever four items there, you are trying to make sure that if you click on sign on page will be displayed. If you click on register page will be displayed. If you click on support, yeah, that's fine. It can be a test case, but remember, let's say register. For register, you will have to write a separate test case to test the register functionality. This test case is fine, but one thing that okay. Uh, so here is the thing. The test case that you have written, right? Normally in the application, we see test cases like this to overall verification, overall to see at a glance functionality if it is working. This test case, you will need this test case. On top of that, the other test case that you are talking, you have written separate, right? What test case? So this test case is fine, although you will have to, you didn't write it in the proper way by including the validation step. So that is what we are going to discuss today. But what is the other test case that you want me to take a look? 3002. Book hotel, right? So navigate new tours page, click on the hotel button from the left menu bar. Hotel booking page will be launched, right? So now here's the thing, Nahid bhai. Only for clicking on the hotel menu bar, right? Only for that you do not need a test case. Instead, what you can do is the way you did 3004, right? 3004, what you did, four of the menu items overall at a glance you have verified in one single test case. You can write a single test case for only click only functionalities, and then let me go to this website. Let me see if this website is available. Oh, this website, it seems not available, not available. But what I'm saying is, for this particular one step, you do not need to write a test case. Instead, the test case that you have written here, I will prefer this one more. This one, like this, you have four menu item. To verify four menu item, you have written a single test case, and then can you see this register? To register, you have to input all of the information and then you have to click next and then you'll have to submit, right? For that one, I will prefer another test case. So here, like, let's say if you have this many steps, I'm good. Up to 20 step, I'll say that, like, if I since this is not coming, let's say if I go to this QA questions website, right? So here you can write a single test case. Okay, click on home menu, the page will be loaded. Click on QA questions menu, the page will be loaded. Click on LoadRunner Tutorials, the page will be loaded. Selenium Tutorials, the page will be loaded. UFT Tutorials, the corresponding page will be loaded. Manual Testing Tutorials, corresponding page will be loaded. Contact us, right? Corresponding page will be loaded, right? Now, at a high level in the application, we see this type of test case. That is fine. You can do all of this in a single test case. Now, then you can go in depth. Okay, now verify QA interview questions, menu items. Okay, here this can be another test case. You open application and then hover on QA interview questions, click on ALM interview questions. ALM interview questions page will be displayed. Hover on QA interview questions, click on Zira interview questions, right? For this, there could be another test case. You got it? Verify this. And then let's say manual testing, right? So again, now you can go in depth here in this to verify. You can write another test case to verify all of these menu items. Okay, and then let's say here register, right? You can, okay, so contact us, right? Contact us, and then you can write another test case to verify all of these menu items just for verification. Now you can write a test case only for register functionality. Click on register and then input name, input username, input password, right? And click submit. Up to this can be another test case. Can you see how I am breaking the functionality for various test cases? And there is a pattern that I'm following, right? I'm not doing like, okay, verify all of these menu items and verify all of these menu items. I'm not doing it in the same function. I'm modularizing the functionality. Does it make sense? When you are writing a test case, that is how you are going to write it. Let me go there, Naved. So Nahid bhai, one thing before I go Naved's question, when you are writing this test case, right? Now let's say Nahid bhai, if you execute this, I'm trying to show you something and then I'll be going for something. Let's say if you execute this test case, right? If I go for execution, let's run. The problem here, now I cannot select pass or failed. I have no way, right? So if I modify this test case, Nahid bhai, let me modify this test case, okay? Let's say that call navigate, I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to say, I'm going to remove everything. Open browser and navigate to um, new course.demoaut.com. This is your step, right? This is your action. Is that correct? Nice. Now, after your action, you're gonna click on add validation step. Now you write what you are expecting from the previous step. Okay. Now my expectation after open browser and navigate to new tools.demoaut.com. My expectation here is loaded and logo will be displayed on the top left corner. This is my expectation. So it is kind of like this, right? If I write a test case here, first of all, we have learned how to write test case, right? Let's say that number of rows, number of columns, for number of rows, right? Let's say the name of our test case is TC name. What is the test case about? This test case is about, okay. The appropriate name will be verify the vertical 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 menu, actually horizontal, this is a horizontal menu, horizontal menu bar items. Okay, now here um, this will be your step num, this will be your action, action or description, whatever, right? And then this will be your expected output, this will be your actual output. Yeah, I'm going to put another column here. This will be your pass fail. Now, step num action in action, right? Step num 1. So what is my step num 1? If I look at here, open browser and navigate to this. Open browser and navigate to what happened to my no, nothing is working. Hold on. It is taking time. I'm going to give it a little time. Charmaine, are you following us like what we are discussing? Very good. Okay, open browser and navigate to this is my step, right? Now, what is my expected output? This is my expected output. I'm going to put it here. And if you, when you execute your test case, if you do not have a tool, then you will be using this. Okay, if the page is not loaded, then you will say, okay, I didn't get the page, instead I got this, and you will be putting, okay, fail. But when you write, you do not have to put anything here. This actual output pass fail will be coming into picture when you are executing the test cases. Does it make sense? Guys, talk to me. Otherwise, yeah, correct. Correct. So here, now, next step, Nahid, what you have written, click on the sign on button from the header menu bar, right? This is a action. Remember, this is a action. When you are asking, okay, do this, do that, do this, right? This is your action, always. Now, I'm going to put it here. So, click on the, and guys, when you write something on a document, let's say you are writing an email or you are preparing a formal document, always note down when you are in real work, always follow this. Your standard font will be Times New Roman and your font size will be 12. Remember this. This is the standard. If you write something formal, that is what will be your font name and that is what will be your font size. Okay? 12. And you can highlight this since this is a, yeah, you can bold this also, you can bold this column name, right? Okay, so click on the sign on button and from the header menu bar, right? Click on the sign on button from the header menu bar. Now when you click on the sign on button from the header menu bar, what is your expectation? The expectation will be the sign on page will be launched, right? Let me take this one from here. So first of all, before you come to the tool, before you come to the tool, you have to know how a test case look like. I know you already have written multiple test cases in Word, so you already know that, but I'm revising that since it is an important topics. Before you come to the tool, you have to know how to write test cases in this format. Mhm. Got it, got it. So when you work in a real project, you will have more organized, structured requirement. Since we are learning here, few of the things we will be working over the head. Okay, so that is how it will be working when you are learning. In work, you might get more organized documents. Sounds good, Night Bhai? Are you following me, Night Bhai? Exactly. So here, the sign on page will be launched with with user name and password text boxes. Okay. Number 3, what is your next step that you have written? Click on the register button from like this. So first of all, you will have to write your test case in this, like you will have to understand your action and then what is your expected output, right? So when you are converting this test case to ALM, the way it is there, your action is the step there and expected output is the add validation step there. So let me come here. So we have seen open browser and we did something. Now click on this sign on button from the header menu bar. This is your uh, step, right? So let me do this. um, Let me do this, Control X. Okay, now I'm here. I'm going to add a new step. So when you add a new step, it will be coming like this. This is my step, and because of this step, right? Because of this step, this was my expectation. Now, now I am here. I have added this step, right? Now, because of the step, I have an expectation. How do I add expectation? Add validation step. Now when I'm clicking on sign on button from the header menu bar, right, what is my expectation? Let me get this expectation from here and put it here. And then next, click on the register button from the header menu bar. After you clicking on the register button, you add your validation step. And what is the validation step? This is the register page will be launched, right? this and add this validation step, right? And then click on the support button from the header menu bar. For that, you will have a validation step. You add a validation step and you put this as a validation step. And then click on the contact button from the header menu bar. For that, you have a validation step. What is that validation step? This will be your validation step. You put it here. Now you save it and then now you run it. Okay. Now what do you see? Right? Now what do you see? So open browser and navigate to newtours.demoaut.com. Page will be loaded and logo will be displayed on the top left corner. This is your expectation, right? And can you see, for your expectation you can select pass fail. So you open the application manually. They are asking to open the application, right? You go to your browser and you open the application. Newtours, can you see, if you go to newtours.demoaut, the application is not opening, right? The application is not opening. So in the beginning, the application is not working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fail it. I'm going to fail this step. And I know that the remaining step, click on the sign on button, will not work. This, I'm not able to even move forward, right? For this one. So in the first step, it is failing here, right? It is failing here. So I make it failed here. And when it is failing, what do you see? You see that this page cannot be displayed, right? Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. If the Nabed, if the page is not loading, you cannot test anything. There will be a very high priority, high severity bug. You report the defect and let them take care of it. So let me show you what I'm doing here. So I'm taking my snipping tool. Since the page is not loaded, so I cannot do anything. At this point, all the QA team, they are stuck. They're going to the coffee room, they will be start taking coffee, they will start gossiping. Oh my god. It's not, basically when I was working in Regions Bank, always there will be work, right? Always there will be work. But in some days, the application is down, right? We get a little bit relaxed. We start talking to each other, right? we let them know by reporting defect, okay, the application is not working, but we start talking, we start walking around the office, right? So same thing, this application is not working, so you start taking coffee and if you need to take some exercise, do some exercise. But before that, let's do this, let's report this defect, right? So here, this application is not working. Let's go to our execution window. Where is our execution window? Here, right? So here I'm going to, can you see, add a defect. Before I go for a coffee break, right? I'm going to put a comment here. Uh, Application didn't open. It was spinning in the browser. Okay. And then you go and click report, add a defect. Now, what is the defect name? Um, the application failed in opening. Okay. And then if it is, if it is to a uh, if you know, okay, it is associated with a backlog, right? You will be able to select backlog. Sometimes you search backlog here 3005. Let me see if there is any backlog I have at this point. So backlog means like, okay, this test case, what is this test case, what is the requirement that test case is associated, right? So let me see now. This is a requirement. So if you go to your, let's say that backlog, right? If you go to your backlog tab, now you see there are few backlog here, right? Let's say login feature or new tools homepage, right? Let's say new tools homepage 2002. I'm going to associate it this one with this backlog. So I'm going to search for 2002. Was it 2002? Let me see. Yeah, 2002. Let me see if I can associate this. Search. Oh, this is the backlog, right? So if I click here, 2002 backlog type search. 2000. Let me see if I can associate it with any login feature 3005. Let me see 3000. So it seems like I cannot associate it with the backlog, but typically like you will be in the real tool, you will be, if you have to, if you know, okay, this backlog or this requirement related, this bug is related to this backlog, you will be able to associate it. So here severity, it is very critical. And then application module, you do not have an application module, we do not have a story point. Okay, now what team you are going to report it? This defect, definitely it is not going to the testing team, right? We do not have, like, we do not have added a development team here. So I'm not, let's say I'm not going to associate, but normally defect, when you report defect, the defect will be going to the development team. But before the defect go to development team, there could be a single person who you assign each of this defect, but there will be a particular group in your real work where you will be assigning this defect. So I do not have a group here, that's fine. Now so sometimes it, this depends on organization to organization, this vary. Sometimes you will be assigning the defect to a single person. All of the defect will be going to a single person. He or she will be deciding if it is a real defect, if it is to assign to a developer. Sometimes you will have to consult with your test lead before you report any defect. Sometimes you will be directly assigning the defect to the developer. Depending on what pattern a particular organization follow, you do follow accordingly. Okay. Now this is a pre-release defect and it is in the QA. Now you write, okay, defect summary, right? Defect summary. The new tools application failed in opening. Okay. Now defect summary and then expected output. Expected output. What is your expected output, right? When I navigate, when I navigate when I navigate to the application, the page supposed to be loaded. What did you got? Actual output. Actual output. The page didn't load. Instead it was spinning in the browser. And then how to recreate? Oh, you put a screenshot. I have already taken a screenshot by the snipping tools. You put the screenshot here showing that if you want to show a particular thing, right? Let's say, so it is loading, it was spinning. What you do, you highlight this and then, right, and then, okay, and then you paste it here, okay. Okay, now how to recreate the bug? You put the step here. Number one, open browser and navigate to new tools.demo.iot.com. That's it. You don't need any further step, right? And then what you do? Finally, you submit the defect. Yeah, click on add. Right now the defect is added here, right? Then you stop your execution because you cannot move forward anymore, right? Okay, so now if you let's say that if you go to your test module, test, and then if you which test case I was executing, this is the test case that I was executing, right? Now if you go to runs, you will see the runs, right? The latest execution that we did is this one, right? This is the, like, however many time you execute this test case, for each of the execution you will be able to see the history here, what you got. All of the execution history will be here. The latest execution that we did is this one. Now if you open this, you will see that the application didn't open, it was spinning in the browser. Can you see the comment? And can you see there is one defect here, right? You will be able to go to the defect. Okay, what was the defect? You come here and you will be able to see the details of the defect, right? Does it make sense, guys? Hey Nipa, how are you? Good. All right, so so if you do not, so if this page is not loaded, Nipa, do you have to waste time to go to the other test cases to fail them, or you'll go for a coffee? Yeah, that is what you will be doing, because even if you cannot open the application, why will you waste time to fail other test cases? First of all, they will have to figure out, okay, why the application is not opening. Then you can go ahead and test the other feature. You can open your own door, you can get in your house, or you can do anything. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so up to this, does anyone have any question? Nahid bhai, any further question? Okay, sure. Where is the defect? J. Defect. Mhm. In the sign on page. Okay. First of all, what is your question here, Nahid bhai? Mhm. It is not coming here. দাঁড়ান দেখি একটু দাঁড়ান। Relation commit I think you are how to recreate those steps are not coming, right? একটু দাঁড়ান দেখি। So it could be like when you report this defect, when you execute a test case, and then if you report defect, let's say that if I go back, right, the latest defect that you have reported, which one is the latest defect that you have reported? The last defect that you have reported, which one is that? Is it here? This one? Okay, if I go there, defect summary, right? Actual output. When you are reporting a defect summary, the new tools application failed in opening, expected output, right? Make sure that you put a summary and then you put expected output and then you put actual output and then you put your screenshot. Make sure that you do this. Then go ahead. Mhm. So this is a trial version of the software. This might not be working as expected. Few of the things might not be like production because this is a trial version. We cannot, if it is a real like paid software, then normally what we do, if we see that type of behavior, we create a ticket with the vendor, like whoever the owner of the software, right? We we create a support ticket and then they work to fix it. So if we see that type of behavior here, we will have to go with that. Now, this I also do not see those how to recreate a step here. I'm trying to see where it could be those step. Yeah, and I also do not see this particular how to recreate steps, but yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I do not see this how to recreate a step. One thing here, people may come here and they may comment, okay, this defect is fixed, or they may come here and they may say, okay, duplicate, rejected, deferred. Deferred means okay, we'll fix it in the future. Duplicate means there is already a defect like this. Rejected means they, okay, this is not a defect. Okay. Now, so if I go back and if I go back to my test and then the latest execution we did on this particular test case, and then here if I go to runs, right, this is the latest run, and from here I know there is a defect, and if I click on this defect, I also do not see this how to recreate step from here to. Okay, so I do not see like how to recreate those steps here, but this is a defect with the tool. Could be. So we have nothing to do with this, but normally like you would see all of the steps that you have written now. So that is how you work with this. uh, the thing that I was saying, if you work as a manual tester, this will be your primary job: understanding requirements, writing test cases from the requirements, executing the test cases once the application is deployed in the QA environment or test environment, and then reporting defect, following up with the defect, having meetings, right? Sometimes doing backend testing. That's all like manual tester does. Mhm. So automation, basically in automation, right? You write test cases. We'll do it once we do automation, but if you have written few automated test cases, you will be executing test cases, and if it fails, right, you mark this test case as a fail. But there is a way from ALM you can execute automated test cases. So here, let's say that if you manually test all of these features, right, one by one, you'll have to sit and you'll have to spend time, right? You'll have to sit, you'll have to spend time in manually going through each of these steps. But if you run your program, you just click on the play button. Can you see when we executed, let's say that when we are manually executing, right? For example, let me go there. This is all of our test cases, right? Now, if you, is it what we have test as a test cases, right? Now, let's say that this is our test cases. So if we go to the overview, not in overview, let's start from the scratch. We come to the test tab, and this is our test cases. I'm going to select all, right? And if I click on run, so how many test cases do I have here? Let's say 10, 12 test cases, right? If you click on run, okay, let's say run name, um, let's say manual execution. Let's run. Cannot run test abbreviation failed to find test 2000, and that is being called by test 2008 call chain. Okay, there is a problem here. Cannot find test 2009 being called by test 2008. So we'll have to do a little bit fix here before we run it. So if I go to test 2008, you have called something, right? Let me remove this step. This is an issue. Okay. Application, and then add a validation step. App will be open. Okay, let's save it, and then let's go back to our test. So now if I click on run, let me see what happened. I'm going to say manual run. Let's run. So what will happen here? Can you see that we have 15 test cases altogether? For each of the test case, we will have to open application, make page loaded. We have to open the application and make sure this is passed or failed, right? Passed, passed, Here I'm just without going to the application. I know that application is down, but if you have to go to the application and make sure everything is there, you have to like open application, you have to open the application, and then you have to make sure if it is passed or failed. You input a invalid credential, you will have to input it in the real application, and then you will be marking this as a pass or fail. First, you perform this step in the application, and then you mark here as a pass or fail. Does it make sense? And then you go for, this is the test case 1. Then go for test case 2. Now in test case 2 again, open browser and navigate to newtools.com. Let's say I open the application and this step is passed. Input username, right? Username will be displayed. Let's say this step passed. Input password, and if I input password, what is my expectation? This is my expectation passed. And click on sign on button. Let's say it failed on sign on button, and then I have to report a defect. That's fine. I'll be reporting a defect. In that way, you will have to go through each and every test cases, and you will have to execute it manually. You let's say that I'm marking this one as a failed, and then this one. I'm not going through the steps. I'm just going like at a glance, and let's say this is passed. Okay, this one, it doesn't have any step. Let's say this is passed. Can you see, if you do not have add validation step, basically you cannot mark the step pass or fail, right? So I'm marking this one as a failed, passed. So now, question to you, Nipa. In the real application, how will you test this? If you have the application, you have to test it, right? How will you do that? Mhm. Perf- you perform each of. Go ahead. Yeah, correct. So you will be going to the application and make sure that the step that you are making past, it is there, it is working as expected, right? Charmaine, can you hear me? So I'm just marking pass or failed. Am I doing it correctly, or I should go to the application before I making it pass or fail? Application, and then I will first verify if the application is working as expected. Then I will mark each of the step pass or fail, right? Okay. So here, next one, I will not spend a lot of time here. I'll just simply mark it pass or failed. I'll mark it pass or failed. Mhm. When do we use that? Yeah, we will go there. We'll go there. We'll be doing it. Yeah, I'll explain more on it. Now let's say that this 15 test cases, right? I executed, and let's say now my execution is done. So Nabeth, first of all, to answer your question, you understood? If you understood, you explain it. Mhm. 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 by code. Right. So here, yeah, thanks for explaining this. So here, if you have to go through manually each of the step, right? The manual testing labor is pretty expensive, right? When an organization employ a manual tester and uh, do this testing manually by spending a lot of hours, it is pretty expensive. So that's why what people does, they hire automation tester who writes code by code, by software code, by automation code. We do this testing instead of engaging manual labor, right? We write code and the code does the testing for us. That is what we will learn in the automation testing part. Okay, sounds good. Okay, now to go back, Nipa, to answer your question. So since that new tools website, right, is coming on and off, it is the login feature is not working, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to work on a real project basically. So I am this this project, right, LoadRunnerTutorials.com. I'm working on this. It will not be coming now, so it will not be, it is not there yet, but I'm writing code for this website. So in this website, the requirement will be, right, the requirement will be, um you know there will be different tutorials, there will be different information, but first of all, the user will have to register first. Once they will be registered, mhm, you already have written the requirements. So which one are the test cases? This one. Okay. Now, okay, got it. So normally what I say now, for a single step, I do not, if it is a single step, I do not add a test case for that, but it is fine. I will not encourage you to add that kind of step. So Nipa, to answer your question here, probably your question was this: what is that 2008 call Navedon, right? Edition. Now, what is happening? Naved, I'll be coming back to your this one. Let's say I want to give you an example. Can you see this test case book a flight, Nipa? Okay. So what will happen if you go to this Mercury Tours, right? Book a flight. Can you see? You'll have to click here. And this website is pretty slow. This is the problem. That's why we are bringing a live project. We'll be testing this project. Okay, let it come. And while this is going on, okay, ALM trial. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay. ALM trial. Micro focus, micro focus, ALM trial. Okay. Now, can you see ALM quality center trial? You go to this link. Let me log out because it is always. Let me do this. Let me open a new. it is getting me as login. Okay. Now let's say that if you type ALM micro focus ALM trial. Okay. ALM Quality Center, prior to Quality Center Enterprise, free trial. Okay. Free trial. What is that? So register for free trial, no contract, no credit card, deliver faster. Not this, not this. I'm looking for something else. We already have tried this LM Octane, right? So LM Octane, we are trying this product. Now, if you go back, there is another product that I'm looking for. Hold on. Quality Center today. Now, can you see this QC community? Quality Center community free edition up to 5 users. Can you see this? Now you have this URL. One of you, I'm putting this URL here in the chat. Okay, I'm putting this URL here. So when you go to this URL, you will be able to get this page, right? And from there, can you see this Quality Center community version? It is unlimited, free, up to 5 users can parallelly work on it, right? This version, I want this version. Someone who can do this for me. Someone download this, and there are some steps. So what you will have to do, if you click on download, right, you will have to register. Remember, whatever email you have used in that ALM Octane, do not use that email. Use a separate email. Okay, and then register and submit. When you submit, right, they will take time. Put your first name, last name, put a different email that you have used for ALM Octane. Do not use that, and put all the information and submit, and then they will be sending you an email. Once they will be approving it, they will be. And what is the purpose, right? Company name, put company name as home learning. Okay, home learning. And here, how can we help you? Okay, I am trying to learn Quality Center, so please give me the trial version, or please give me this community version. Put this word here, and then once you get the confirmation from them, keep an eye on your email. Once you get the confirmation, then they will be creating the trial version for that community version for you. Then you can add all of us on that software. So who will be able to do that for us? Who will take that responsibility? I want someone take this responsibility. Guys, who wants to take this responsibility? Because if we get this Quality Center community version, we can use it throughout our learning. Naved, you want to do this? Okay, so after this class, you send this registration and keep an eye. Every time they ask you to do something, do it. So that we get this. Once we have got this, send me a notification and add me on that trial version. On that, add all of us. Basically, we have how many people? 3 or 4 people, whoever we has. You add us so that we can parallelly we can do all of our experiment in this software. So that will be a great help, because if we get it for throughout our course, we will be able to implement all of the learning phase in this software. It will be a real experience in terms of learning a tool. Okay. So after this class, Nabet, you want to you let me do this for you, Nabet. Actually, you give me your email. So what is your let's say Nabet, right? Nabet, and your last name is Khan. What is the email that you want to mention here? Did you use this for any of this? Okay, 99 at Gmail. that is good. Your phone. Mm-hmm. 470 875 7945. What is your zip code? I do not want everyone register for this at the moment. I want to see what happens. And then, because if you use your email, you cannot use it for another purpose. So, yeah. Okay, submit. Can you check like, thank you for interest in ALM Calling Center. One of our specialists will contact you, right? See if you get this mail. Yeah, you'll get something in your email and take a step once you get it. Okay, right. So what I was telling is the same way we will try to learn another tool Jira as well, but let me continue here. So what is happening here, guys? Um, that so we are going to do a real project, basically the LoadRunner tutorials, and the requirement here is you will be writing the test cases, and then uh, I'll be giving you a requirement and you will be writing test cases. Now here, if you take a look, the test cases that I was verifying now, but what was the test case? Okay, so yeah, so I was explaining Nipa to you what is this call step, right? And for that I went back and then I was looking at the test case 2002, right? So here if you take a look on this one, right, if you go back, basically this application is giving us a lot of headache, so we cannot use this. So what will happen, right? To book a flight, the first requirement is you will have to log in. Nipa, do you understand this? To book a flight, yeah, first of all you will have to log in, and then you will be able to click on flight and book a flight. But if you are not logged in, it will be redirecting you to the login page. Does it make sense? So to book a flight, first thing that you will have to do, you will have to log in first, right? Okay. So when I'm writing a test case for booking a flight, right? Before my booking process, what is the first requirement? And then I have to log in. So when I'm writing a test case for book flight, before I go for this step book flight, my step will be, first step will be login, right? And for login, I'll have to open application and then I'll have to verify, okay, the application is open. I'll have to input username and verify that username is displayed. I'll have to input password. I'll have to verify that password is displayed. I'll have to click on sign in or login, and I'll have to make sure that I am logged in, and then I'll have to click on flights. Is that correct? Okay. So instead of writing the login process in this particular test case, if you take a look, if you go back, we already have a test case for login. Can you see uh, where is my login test case? Can you see new to login? If if you go to this particular test case, I already have steps for login. Can you see? Open browser, navigate to this page. Page will be loaded with login text boxes. Input username, username will be displayed. Input password, password will be displayed. Click on sign in, login successful message will be displayed. So that means I already have a test case for login. Is that correct? So when I'm going there and when I'm writing a test case for book a flight, I I didn't I didn't write the steps for I didn't write the steps for login. Instead, what I did, can you see add call step? I clicked on this, and what do I need to bring here? I need to bring the login. I select this and then I click on now. Now what happened is now instead of so can you see what happened now? New to login, and then after the login is done, click on flight step from the left navigation bar. Flight selection will be loaded, right? Can you see this? So now if you execute this test case, right? If you click on run test, right? If you execute and then let's run. Yeah, yeah. Now can you see in this particular test case, click on flight step from the left navigation bar, flight section below. Before that, can you see all of the step from login is here? That is why you have added that. Although we didn't have written steps for this, but it is there because we have brought that test case here. Does it make sense why we have added that? Okay, so that is why you have added it. Any further question on this? Okay, sure. Sharmin, do you have any question? Mhm. Okay, let me tell you this. Okay. So can you see these menus here? This is called horizontal, like parallel to the arc. This menu, horizontal menu. This is a horizontal menu. Okay. Now, if you go back, again, this is a horizontal menu. Sometimes you will see menu here like this. This is vertical menu. This is horizontal menu items, and I'm trying to get a website with horizontal menu. Give me a second. Message, okay. So these are horizontal menus. Now let me see. It doesn't have a vertical menu here. So, so this is a drop down list, Nabed. This is a drop list. Sometimes you will see menu here and then like this new tours demo UFT.com, right? In this website, you will see that there is a vertical menu, and can you see this is the, let's say that if you take a screenshot of this, right? So so this is the vertical parallel to the This is horizontal, right? This is vertical menu, this is horizontal. So this is horizontal menu, this is vertical menu.
Was some sort of test or something?
No. It's like when we are okay. Click on register button or register menu from the horizontal menu bar. Or I ask click on destinations from vertical menu bar. Got it? Okay. Any other question, guys? Yes. Only for opening application you do not need to call another test case because it doesn't make sense. So you just okay open browser and navigate to this application. Yes, I'm going back there. Kunta. Yeah, wait for that email. No. Probably you will get tomorrow is Monday, right? Let's see like how normally they take a little bit time. Okay, if you haven't opened, do not open it. Let's Nabed, if you do not get, if you do not get a, uh, response from them in a couple of days, then you use a brand new email and then send another request. Okay, so here, what is that test case again? Let me see. Your this one, right? Okay. So you have this call step and then put the cursor on contact us. There are login register about the author test feedback. Okay. So here, Nabed, the wording, right? Login register about the author test feedback menu items will be displayed. So instead of there are, right? Instead of there are, you put login register about the author test feedback here. Okay. And test feedback menu items will be. So it will be put the cursor on. So instead of put the cursor on contact us, right? The way you will say, you will be hover. Can you see there is a technical word for this? There is a technical word hover, hover cursor or hover mouse on contact us menu item. Okay, so you write here. This part, specific wording will be hover, hover mouse pointer on contact us menu item. Does it make sense? Okay. Then, Nabed, so in this test case, you have written this test case for register, right? No, I see that you have click on register button, right? There are register info form, the name inside the text. I see this is for register. So specifically this test case not is not contact us. It will be let's yeah no verify user registration process. Got it? Verify user registration process. Guys, any further question on this? Okay. Verify user registration process, and then you can put your name here. Let's say you are writing, right? So I want to see who is writing it. So you put your name at the end. I will when I see this, I will know, okay, you did it. Okay. Verify user registration process now. Okay. Now, so hover mouse pointer on contactors menu item, login, register, about the author, test feedback menu items will be displayed, right? Then click on register. This is again click on register. This is not a button. This is not a button. What is that? Click on register. Okay. And what is your expectation? There are register info from page will be displayed. The actual wording will be uh, user registration text boxes will be, or you will say that user registration page will be loaded. Page will be. Now input the name inside the text box. Right? Input the name inside the text box. Name will be displayed inside the text box. Okay. Input the username inside the text box. Username will be displayed inside the. You simply say username will be displayed inside the text box, or username will be displayed. Input the password inside the password text box. Password text box. Password will be displayed encrypted inside the text box. Input the confirm password inside the text box. Confirm password will be displayed encrypted inside the text box. Input the email address inside the text box. Input password will be. Input the contact number inside the text box, and the phone number will be displayed in the text box. Click submit. There is the name, email, phone number. Also, thank you for registering. Message will be displayed. Right? This message. There is the name. So this is. I'll be removing this. Right? You do not need to put this. It will be. Thank you for registering. Message will be displayed. So this is a good test case for the registration process. Navid, do you understand? Okay. So here, right? Let's say if I do this now, okay. Now let's say that if you come here and if you go to this backlog tab, right? Now let's say I'm going to add a user story. What is that user story, guys? Name, user, registration, user registration feature. Now this is a backlog. An application module, we do not have any module at this point. And release, for what release I'm putting this user story for February 2020. What is the sprint? Sprint 1. Do you understand what is a sprint, guys? Sprint, we are still in sprint 1. The user registration will be in sprint 1. Let's say now. Milestone, we do not have added any milestone. Now theme, right? Actually, before I do that, let me add another theme. discard. Let me go there, spaces, and then here I'm going to add a theme. Go back and themes, testing team, right? I'm going to add another team, development team, our skill developers. Team lead, let's say I'm going to make Nahid as a team lead for this. Default expected velocity, how many user velocity they can, how many feature they will be able to write code in every sprint. Let's say 5 features, right? Add an edit. Now in this team, right, assign to a new release. So what release? I'm going to assign this developer to February 2020 release they will be working on, and then planning deadline and work days. Yeah, work days is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then let me see what else I can add. So here default expected, right, related users. Yeah, he's the user. Now let me add a member, right? I'm going to assign, this is the team lead, right? I'm going to assign a new member. Assign member, I'm going to put myself in this team as well. Okay, so this is the development team, right? We have a testing team, we have a development team. Now let's go to this backlog tab again. Backlog, and here I'm going to add a new backlog. What is that user story? The user story is user registration feature. Feature. And then we will have a module, and then we are going to put it for February 2020. And what is the sprint? We are still in sprint 1. We do not have a milestone. What team will be responsible for that? Let's say our development team will be developing, and story points we do not have a, okay. Now description, right? New user will have to be registered. Add an edit. Now here, if you come here, add an edit, you put more description. New users will have to be registered first to use the application features, right? For registration, user will have to provide the following information. Number one, name. Actually, first name and last name. Number two, username. Number three, password and confirm password. So number four, email address. number 5, phone number. Okay, and then you save it. So this is the requirement. And then go back to your test case. What is the test case? Backlog. Let me go back to the test, and your test case is this one, verify user registration process, right? You come here. Now if you look at this, right, this is your test case. Now details is this relations. Now relation, add relation, covered user story, user registration feature, right? Add. Remember that we talked about traceability metrics, right? So we have written a test case. Now we are associating a particular, okay, what is that test case says about, right? So we have written test case. Now we have brought, okay, what was the requirement? This is the requirement. If you go there, you will be able to see the requirements. Steps, we have the steps. Runs, we didn't execute. Okay, probably if you have executed, you will see the execution result. Attachment, if there is any attachment, if you want to attach any screenshot or anything, you can attach. History, you'll see the history. Now can you see this relation? Basically is telling, okay, what this test case is for. We have written this test case, but definitely this test case we have written to cover a requirement, right? So we have associated a requirement with a particular test case. Does it make sense? Guys, do you understand what I'm saying here? Okay, so here in that way you create traceability metrics or RTM. Okay, so all of the test cases will be from user story. So in a real world, Nabed, in a real world, you will have the requirement, and basically you will be going to the, if you use LM Octane, you will be going to the backlog, and from the backlog you will be reading the user story, and based on the user story you will be writing your test cases. When you are writing your test cases, you are not writing your test cases from the application. The application is no longer there. The application is even didn't born. It is still not in the world, right? The application is in the requirement, in the backlog. You'll be reading this feature, and from the feature you will be writing the test cases. Does it make sense? FRD means those FRD, right? Those FRD requirement document, right? They are like, if you use this tool, they will be, remember this. Let me bring this figure here. Give me a second. So what is happening? Your FRD, BRD, right? If I go back, yeah, yeah. Let me bring it once again. trying to bring a document to explain this. One second. Now, can you see this image that I am showing here? Okay, so this this agile software development methodology or agile scrum software development methodology specifically that we are discussing here, right? User from customers, right? From customer, we the product owner or the BAs, they list the requirements, right? These are the requirements that we are calling BRD, FRD, right? So from this FRD, from this BRD, right? This, like, now we divide this FRD into small chunk of work. From the FRD, we are making a small chunk of work that we are calling product backlog. Can you see this small block here? From the FRD, we are preparing this product backlog. And then some of the backlog that we put for a particular sprint. So the whole FRD, right? We divide this FRD to chunk of work that we are calling the whole product backlog. And this product backlog, the whole product backlog, we do not develop this whole product backlog in a single sprint. We then divide this product backlog for multiple sprints, right? We do the sprint planning by assigning certain block of work that we are calling backlog to particular sprint. And then sprint by sprint, we take the requirement, we do the development, we do the testing, and then for the next sprint, we take another set of backlogs, we do the development, we do the testing, right? The way this software development goes. Does it make sense now? What is product backlog? Naved? Not each of them, a set of backlog. Let's say if you have, from the requirement, you have 50, you have identified 50 backlog. This backlog means 50 user story you have identified. Okay, so you have 5 sprint. So you may assign 10 backlogs per sprint, or in that way, depending on complexity, you might be assigning 15 backlog for sprint 1, and if it is too much complicated, then you might assign 7 backlog for the next sprint. Depending on the project manager, they plan this development process. Now, in the modern software development, right? In the modern software development process, from the requirement, we divide the, like, we make small pieces of backlogs. We make it, we sometimes we call it user story epic, right? We make the backlog, and these are the total backlog that we have to complete this software. And then we assign certain set of backlogs to every sprint, and we iteratively develop. In sprint 1, let's say we will do 10 backlog, we will develop 10 backlog, we will test 10 backlog. Next sprint we will do another 10 set, like this, until we are done with all of the backlog, right? That's how agile scrum methodology, that's how we do the development. Does it make sense to everyone? So the backlog, let me bring this So one thing, Nabed, you do not have to know, okay, how many backlog will be there, because this is specifically the task of the product manager, right? You do not have to be worried about, okay, how many backlog will be there, how many backlog will be in each sprint. That is totally a product development planning. For planning, there is a manager who will be doing this planning. You will be working on implementing that plan. Okay. Now, so to answer Nipa, your question, right? Remember that we have this Mercury Tours requirement document that we have seen previously, right? This requirement, right? So this is the requirement that we saw previously. Basically, in this software requirements, we have, like, they have identified the features those we have to develop, right? So this is the requirement document. This is the requirement document that we will have to develop. Now, from this requirement document, right, from this requirement document, people prepare the requirement document, and while planning the software development process, right, while planning the software development process, this is the basis of the development. But when we are going to a particular tool from where we will manage this development, right, what we do, from we divide these features that we will have to develop into, can you see, we divide these features into backlog. We say, okay, backlog or user story 1. User story 1, what is the user story? There will be a horizontal menu bar. In that horizontal menu bar, there will be this log on menu, there will be register menu, there will be support menu, there will be contact us menu, right? So we divide this work from the requirement document, we divide the work into pieces, and we see how many pieces of work, like this total development process, to make it simpler, to whoever will be developing these features, so that they have a clear picture of what they will have to develop, we divide this work into small pieces. The work, we call them user story or product backlog. And then let's say from the whole requirement we have 50 backlog. 50 backlog means we have to develop 50 pieces of feature in this application. Altogether, we have, after starting this requirement, we have 50 pieces of work that we have to implement to complete this whole software. Now, this 50 backlog that we have precisely mentioned what we have to do, this 50 backlog, we divide it, let's say 5 group. We put 10 backlog, 10 backlog, 10 backlog, 10 backlog, 5 times 10, 50 backlog. And we plan like this. Okay, we will develop the first 10 backlog from February 15 to February 28. Within these days, we will complete the development and testing of the first 10 backlog. And then the next set of 10 backlog we will be developing and testing from March 1 to March 15. And then the third set of 10 we are going to develop from March 16 to March 30. And the fourth set of 10 backlog we are going to develop from April 1st to April 15. And the last, so we are assigning a certain number of backlog to a sprint. So we are assigning here 10 backlogs per sprint. And then we divide. Can you see how I am planning the sprint? In that way, the whole 50 backlog we will be developing by 5 sprint. Every sprint will have 10 backlogs, right? In that way, every sprint will have certain number of work, every sprint, and in that way, the whole development process will be done by let's say by 3 months or 5 sprint. Does it make sense? Mhm. And Abed, depending on the complexity of the backlog, right? We might have one backlog for a sprint. We might have 15 backlog for a sprint. We might have 5 backlog for a sprint. So for this product, let's say that you want, this is a backlog, home home menu, right? Flights menu. This is another backlog, right? And then so you want to, if you want to plan it, the product manager, he will be planning, let's say this 7 backlog I'm going to put in sprint 1 and we'll be developing them in sprint 1. Does it make sense? And then he might plan, okay, these features, right? These features I'll put in sprint 2. So this planning work, we do not have to be worried about this planning work. We have to be clear about this concept, how the software development process goes. The planning is done by, for planning there are qualified people with good degree who will be doing the planning. They will be considering, okay, I'm putting that many backlogs, will my development team, will my testing team will be able to complete developing and testing by this time? Everything will be planned there. Then take your input. So what will happen while planning? They might take your input. Hey, these are the features that you will have to test, right? How long do you think it will take? They might take your input. How long do you think? Okay, you have 50 test cases. For testing 50 test cases, how long do you think it will take? 5 days, something like this. They might take your input. So if you, this is the thing, in professional field, it doesn't work like that. If you say that, okay, I think that I'll be able to finish in 5 days, depending on work. If you, and in the middle of the time, if you say, oh, I cannot finish it in 5 days, this is not professional. They might increase your time. Okay, I'm giving you another 2 days, but they will say, this guy, he promised something, he was not able to deliver. So that's why when you say something in work, you understand and then you say. Yeah, let's say that there is a, when you specifically, when you write automated test cases, right? You have to write program. Over there, complexity might arrive. You might not see in the upcoming, like how, what kind of complexity will be when you write code. But in manual testing, you should be, when you do manual testing, you should be like precise, because you are doing manual testing. You, if you know, okay, these are the feature, right? You will be able to give a specific time. Okay, I'll take 5 days to finish this. And if you are not sure, you keep 1 day extra. You keep some bonus time and then give them time. Okay, because when they are planning, right, you say 5 days, they are planning, okay, these 5 days, and after, from the sixth day, they have other plans to do. So if you are making them delay, they have to change every plan. So that's why it is important that whatever you say, you think well and then you say it. Any further question, guys? Okay, so are we understanding what we are discussing here, guys? Okay, now, okay, so my question here, you understand what will be the requirement for this whole software, right? The software that we are planning. So, Nabed, if we get your quality center, right? Our this ALM Octane is going to be expired in 10-15 days. 15 days, right? After that, we cannot use it. We'll have to buy it if we want to keep using it. So, it is going to be expired in 10-15 days, but we need something that will not expire. And the link that I sent you, I think um, it is a we'll be able to keep using it without expiration. So if we get that, we will be moving our requirements and everything or what on that one, and then we will plan these test cases. But for now, I see that, Nabed, I have given you the feedback, right? What kind, what kind of modification you will have to do on your test cases, what kind of wording you will have to put, and when you are writing your test cases, what will be your, how will you write it, right? So if you write your test cases, let's say that this menu item, right, you can write a test case just to, okay, click on this menu, verify the page loaded, and then this menu will have some other features. For to verify all of this, you can put another test case, right? To verify the items, you can write another test case to verify the items in contact us. You can write multiple test cases from the login, positive, negative, right? You can write multiple test cases from the register. One is with happy path, like you put all the information, yeah, as required, and then you can write another test case. Okay, input username, input password, input password, and then put a password in confirm that is not matching with the password, and make sure that you get appropriate error message. So you can write multiple test case from user registration, and then and feedback, right? You can write test case from feedback by going to the feedback page. You can provide a feedback here, right? So I will say that every one of you, when you write your test cases here in this product, right? If I go to the team backlog. So Nipa, do you have access to this one now?
With my email address or
Okay. So did you receive email from Micro Focus? Can can you share your do you think you can? Okay, do this. Go to your email and search for Micro Focus. Sharmin, you are able to log in, right?
Christianity, but hold on, just a minute.
Okay. So what do you see, Nipa, when you search for Micro Focus? No. Yeah, it is. I'm not sure like how much snow you have in your area. It was half a feet here. One inch, okay. In our area, it's more than half a feet. Yeah. Bangladesh win in the cricket. They beat India. That doesn't have any, you know, regularity. They will, they will then defeated with Afghanistan. Yeah.
The other day I was able to, but it was expired now.
Okay, okay. Can you share your screen? Okay, let's take a look one by one. Who wants to share? Can one of you please share? One second. I do not see yet.
Trying to open up from this computer. I was on my other one. I'll check.
Okay. I do not see your screen yet.
Now,
Yeah, now I can see. Okay. Now, when you go to, it is saying that, okay, let's do this. Can you see that login, software, microfocus, right? Remove after .com. Whatever you see after .com, remove it. Press, press enter now. Login, software, microfocus cannot be found. Okay. Okay. Now remove it. Remove everything from your ALM. from here, from your address bar, yeah, type ALM, remove everything, type ALM only, ALM, ALM, and then dash octane. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm looking for something for you. 1 second. Okay. Everyone, Sharmin and Nipa, I'm putting a URL in the chat. Can you copy this URL and put it in your browser, Nipa? Now you put your email here. Oh, before you put your email, make this link as your add this link to your favorites. Plus, yeah, click on plus. No, 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 not this plus. Please.
I don't have to do it on Safari.
Okay, close this. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Here, bookmarks. Can you see bookmarks? No. Yeah, yeah. No, no. Go to the bookmarks. Yeah. Here, can you see the bookmarks menu? Book. Okay. Yeah. Then actually, um, no, not there. Go to your menu bar. Can you see? Can you go to your menu bar in the browser? No. If you go a little bit up. Yeah, bookmarks. Can you see the bookmarks menu on top? Bookmarks. I do not prefer this for this course, right? I will always prefer you come up with your Windows laptop because we are bringing few of the things that you will not be able to continue in this computer. It will be difficult. Okay, add to bookmark. Yeah. Okay, now it is okay. You can put name LM Octane and Nipa. I will prefer that all of the materials that we are sending, you save it in a Windows computer and you continue this class from a Windows computer. That will be because when I'm bringing a Selenium, right? Definitely, I know it will be an issue. Okay. Now log in. Yeah, put your email address here. Put your password. Do you remember what password you put there? Yeah, you can save it. Yeah. Yeah. So now you will be able to execute, you will be able to see all the test cases, you will be able to write your test cases, everything you will be able to do here. Is it good? Okay. Okay. So you have 15 days. You can do practice here until we are getting another version of the software. But with this 50 days, this is a good thing. Like this LM Octane is developed in a way for managing agile sprint, agile scrum software development methodology. So it is a good learning thing. Hopefully, it will be helpful if you keep using it. Okay. Now, Sharmin, were you able to log in? Okay, so you will be able to use the features, right? Okay, very good, very good. Now, I will stop my recording here. This manual testing and discussion on this manual testing in ALM part, and then we will start another discussion. But let me stop this recording.